All right, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive into the Quran.
It's been a journey, hasn't it?
It really has.
So much covered.
Yeah, and today we're focusing on those last surahs.
Yes.
101 to 114. These are the final revelations in the Quran.
And they're really fascinating. They kind of bring a lot of the earlier themes to a head, and you see this focus on...
Yeah, like the reckoning.
Exactly.
The warnings against getting too caught up in like the material world, worldly things, that affirmation of faith and seeking refuge in God, all that stuff.
Right, and it really packs a punch, I think, in these final surahs.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Let's get started. I'm excited to unpack this.
Okay.
So first up, Surah Al-Qaryah, the calamity.
Oh.
This one.
Right.
Vivid.
So vivid. It's like it's almost like a movie, you know?
Right.
You can see it. The opening verses describe the day of judgment, people scattering like moths, mountains crumbling to dust.
Yeah, and you can't help but be struck by it. It's so powerful. It really makes you stop and think. Why do you think it's so important to use this imagery in this context? Like, what's the point?
Well, I think the Quran's really tapping into something here. You know, it's using that vivid language. And remember, this was a society where poetry was highly valued. So it's really grabbing the listener's attention. You know, it's like, listen, this is important.
Yeah. It's not just telling you, it's making you feel it.
Exactly. It's an experience.
Right. Okay, let's move on to Surah At-Takathur, the rivalry for worldly increase. And man, this one feels so relevant even today, doesn't it?
It's incredible, isn't it?
This obsession with just getting more stuff. Like
Yeah.
more and more and more.
It's like everywhere.
It is. Everywhere. Like that's what our whole society's built on. And the Surah warns against this. You know, it's like, hey, if that's your main focus, you're going to lose sight of what really matters. You're going to forget about your spiritual growth and your responsibilities to other people.
Yeah, it's so easy to get caught up in that.
Totally.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to note that it's not saying wealth itself is bad.
No, not at all.
It's more about the attitude, the obsession.
Right. Like, are you making it your whole life? You know?
Yeah. Okay, now, Surah Al-Azr, the declining day. This one's so short, but it's like a little bomb of wisdom.
Oh, absolutely. This is one that Muslims memorize and recite often.
Really?
Yeah, it's super important.
Can you unpack that a little? What makes it so impactful?
Well, it lays out these 4 things that are super essential for living a good life. You need faith, good deeds, encouraging truth, and encouraging patience.
Okay, that's pretty straightforward. And it applies to everyone, right? Not just Muslims.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. These are universal values.
Yeah.
We all face tough times, you know?
For sure.
And the surah is saying, look, if you focus on these things, you'll find meaning and purpose.
I love that. Okay, Surah Al-Hamazah, the traducer. This one's calling out those who gossip, backbite, mock others.
Those is shade, right?
It's giving shade. And, you know, it's so relevant, especially with all the social media stuff we have going on.
It's like it was written for today.
I know. It's like, wait.
But it's not just about, like, avoiding gossip, right?
Right.
It's about understanding that our words have power.
Oh, yeah.
We got to use our voices for good, you know?
Yeah, to build each other up, not tear each other down.
Exactly.
Which is something we need so much more of these days.
We do, for sure. Okay, last one for this section. Surah Al-Fil, the elephant. And what's cool about this one is that it tells a story, right? A historical account of this attack on the Kaaba that totally failed.
Yeah, they tried to use elephants to destroy it, didn't they?
They did.
Wild.
And it didn't work.
And the surah says they were defeated by birds.
Yeah.
Like flocks of birds dropping stones.
Yeah, pretty dramatic, right?
So dramatic.
Yeah.
So what's the lesson here?
I think it's about recognizing God's power. That those who go against God's will not succeed. It's a message of hope, you know, for those trying to do what's right.
So in these first 5 surahs, we've got judgment, materialism, good deeds, the power of words, and even a little history lesson.
It's pretty amazing.
It really sets the stage for the rest of these final revelations. What do you think?
Oh, totally. And as we go on, we're going to see these themes develop even more.
I'm ready.
Me too.
Let's dive in.
Okay, so now we're going to look at surahs 106 to 110.
Right.
And these ones that kind of shift the focus a little bit. You see a lot about community, devotion, and recognizing God's blessings in your everyday life.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so what's the first one in this group?
So we start with Surah Quraysh.
Quraysh.
Yeah.
Oh,
And as you know, that's the name of the tribe that Prophet Muhammad came from.
right, right. They were those big traders, right?
Exactly. And this surah, it specifically talks about their trade journeys, how they had to travel far and wide for business.
Yeah, I know.
And it highlights how, they relied on God for their safety and their well-being during these travels.
So it's connecting their, economic activities to a deeper spiritual connection.
Exactly. It's reminding them, and us too, that even in worldly pursuits, we need to remember where our blessings come from.
Oh, that's a good point. Don't forget to be grateful, even when you're busy making deals.
Exactly. And that kind of leads us perfectly into the next one, Surah al-Ma'un, which means small kindnesses or charity.
Okay, so we're shifting from gratitude to, action.
Yeah, in a way, it calls out those people who might look all pious on the outside, but they don't actually do good deeds.
They're all talk and no action.
Exactly. It says true faith isn't just about rituals.
Right.
It's about how you treat others, especially those in need.
Yeah, it's like walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
Exactly. It's about putting your beliefs into practice.
Okay, I like that. So now, Surah Al-Kawthar. This one caught my eye just because of the name.
The abundance.
The abundance. What's the story here?
So this surah, it came at a time when the prophet was dealing with a lot of opposition.
Ah, yeah, I can imagine.
People were mocking him, even saying his lineage would end with him.
Oh, wow. That's rough. So this surah is like a comfort, a reassurance from God.
Exactly. It promises him tons of blessings in this life and the next.
Okay.
And it talks about this fountain of abundance in paradise.
So it's like God saying, don't worry about them. I've got you covered.
Exactly. It's a message of support, saying that even when things are tough, God is there for you.
I love that. Okay, now, Surah Al-Kafirun, the disbelievers. This one seems like it's about something super important, especially today.
Yeah, religious freedom.
Right.
This surah makes it crystal clear. No one should be forced into religion.
So it's saying everyone has the right to choose their own path, to believe or not believe.
Exactly. Muslims have their beliefs, and those who don't, they have theirs. And no one should be pressured either way.
That's amazing, especially for when it was revealed.
Right. The Qur'an has always been about freedom of belief.
Okay, last one in this set, Surah An-Nasr, Divine Support. And this one is tied to a specific event, right?
Yes. The Muslims entering Mecca victoriously.
Oh, wow. So a moment of triumph. This surah is about celebrating that.
It is, but it also reminds you to stay humble even in victory.
Okay.
It tells the prophet to praise God and ask for forgiveness.
So, don't let the wind go to your head.
Yeah, remember that it wasn't just your own strength that got you there.
Yeah, God had a hand in it, too.
Exactly. Stay grounded, be grateful, and ask for forgiveness.
Wow, these surahs are packed with insights. We've got gratitude, compassion, reassurance, religious freedom, even humility in the face of victory.
And they all build on each other.
Yeah.
Creating this beautiful picture of living a life guided by faith.
And we're going to see all of this come together as we move into the final set of surahs.
Oh, absolutely. The final surahs are really something special. Okay, we're in the home stretch now. Those last few surahs, 111 to 114, they almost feel like personal, like a one-on-one.
Yeah. It's like we're getting these really specific pieces of advice, these reassurances for dealing with life's challenges.
Right, like really direct guidance.
So what's first in this final set?
We start with Surah al-Masad, which you might also hear called palm fiber or the flame. And this one's kind of intense. It's about this conflict the prophet had with his own uncle, Abu Lahab.
Whoa, family drama. What happened?
Well, Abu Lahab was really against Islam.
I can only imagine how tough that must have been for the prophet.
Yeah, to face opposition from your own family, that's hard.
So what's the message here?
It's like a strong condemnation of Abu Lahab and his choices, and it predicts his ultimate fate. So it's kind of a warning, that even family ties can't protect you from the consequences of your actions.
Especially when it comes to rejecting truth.
Exactly. Our choices matter. And sometimes even the closest bonds can be tested by our beliefs.
Wow. Okay, let's move on to Surah Al-Ikhlas. The sincerity. This one's super important, right?
Oh, yeah. It's huge. It's like a core statement of Islamic belief.
I've heard it recited so many times, but I'd love to understand, the deeper meaning. What makes it so central?
Well, it boils down to the absolute oneness of God.
Okay.
It says God is one, unique, eternal, no partners, no offspring. It shuts down any idea of polytheism, idolatry.
It's amazing how such a short surah can pack in such a fundamental concept.
Right. It's like pure essence of faith.
Yeah, it's so powerful. Okay, on to Surah Al-Falaq, the daybreak.
Ah, yes. This one and the next one, they're like prayers for protection.
Interesting. So we're shifting gears a bit here.
Yeah, it's about seeking God's protection from all sorts of bad stuff, like envy, witchcraft, people who want to harm you.
It's like acknowledging that we're vulnerable.
Yeah.
That we need help sometimes.
Exactly. We might be strong, independent, but there are forces out there that we can't control. And turning to God, seeking his protection, that can bring a lot of peace.
For sure. It's a reminder that we're not alone in this. Okay, and now the very last surah of the Qur'an, Surah An-Nas, mankind. What a way to end.
It really is. And it continues this theme of seeking refuge, but it turns inward.
Inward.
Yeah, it's about those whispers of evil inside us, temptations, bad influences that can mess with our judgment.
So it's like recognizing that the biggest battles we fight are sometimes within ourselves.
Exactly. It's that constant struggle between good and evil that's going on in our hearts and minds.
And we need God's help to navigate that, right?
Yes. To resist those negative forces. Wow, what a journey, right? From those first verses about creation and guidance, all the way to these final words about seeking refuge and protection.
It's amazing how it all comes together.
Yeah, all these different themes, they weave this incredible tapestry of wisdom.
And even though our deep dive is ending, the exploration isn't over, right? We can keep reflecting on these teachings, keep applying them to our lives.
Absolutely. The Quran, it invites us to keep learning, keep questioning, keep digging deeper, and that's a lifelong journey.
So to everyone listening, keep exploring, keep diving into this wisdom. Until next time.